Hey, brother.
What's up, motherfucker?
Ah! Kick off like that. I love it. It makes me think of Californication, David Duchovny.
Exactly. I just got off a season of, the whole series binge watched of Californication. It's a poignant warning to men who like women and alcohol. It's a poignant warning.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. Gabby and I were watching that show, and we were like watching it like in marathon mode. And I told my niece about it, and then I realized, wait, my niece is like 18 years old. Like this is like the worst thing to even say.
Oh my god.
But it gives a good warning for ladies that there are some guys out there that are in a place where they're in a lot of pain, and I even was there myself, where like drowning out my connection with alcohol or drugs or sex and all those things was actually the perfect segue to what we're going to be talking about here. Isn't that funny how that works?
It's so, yeah, I saw so much of myself in that David Duchovny character, even down to his, what's up, motherfucker? like, that it's so true. Like, you and I have both been young entrepreneurs with money to throw around and go out and meet people and drink too much. And, like, that was it. I don't want to speak for you or tell your story, but that was an era of my life that was, uh, a couple years.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and why it lasted, and I'm really glad it's in my past.
Yeah, yeah. And it doesn't have to take, like, a tragic rock bottom story to be like, okay, we're going to close the book on this and start leveling up in our practices and start leveling up in our what we're doing.
Yeah, take that energy and use it towards some amazing things. So, for those of you guys just joining us, I just want to introduce you really quickly to a dear friend of mine, Daniel Fox. He's driving back now to Columbus, Ohio. He drove down to Miami to actually just attend my birthday party, my 40th birthday. How did you like the party?
What? Oh my God! Like, well, first of all your friends are on a level where it's like they're bringing people up. You meet some people who are like they're on another level and they don't necessarily care if you're there or not. Like, your people are on another level and with a hand stretched to wherever you are to pull you up to it. So every single person I came across was like reaching out and reaching to pull everybody else up. It was an amazing experience, brother.
Yeah, yeah, and the thing is, like, when I think of pulling someone up, it's like it's pulling them up in that area of mastery. So every one of them had unique skill sets, just like everybody watching this right now. All of you have unique skill sets. I have unique skill sets. Daniel has unique skill sets, and the way that I've learned to live my life over these last few years, and it's really starting to take off, is just surround myself around people that are willing to share their success and help me in the areas that I hadn't achieved any kind of mastery yet. And mastery is kind of like perfection; like it doesn't really happen, but it really is a way of being and allows expansion to get like anything that we want. So Daniel here actually came down, and I learned about a program he's going to be doing here, launching really soon, and we're going to get to that in a moment. One thing I want to just make sure that I mention here, for those of you watching this event that we did, that was my 40th birthday, that brought everybody there. And the 40 number helped with all of that stuff. My wife went and did like amazing job organizing it. However, I want everybody that's watching to consider something. We're going to be doing more of these types of events, and we're going to be looking to expand the size of this tribe. We had about 70 people in total, 22 people from out of town drove. And the idea of, like, one of the things I first said was how people came for my birthday, and that's not really why they were there. It felt like that, right? Because it's my birthday, and I'm really glad that they were there for my birthday and see how much I'm appreciated and everything, and being the orchestrator of this, and being God watching this whole experience. Yet watching everybody interact and up level immediately on the spot at dinner, like people like were just so pumped up. I had one friend that left early to go home and start on his goals because he's been procrastinating on it, and it was just magical. Like I know, Daniel. You said that. I think I heard what you said was something to the degree of, I've gotten so inspired by this trip and I've completely up leveled. Something to that degree. What was it?
Yeah, I mean, it was something like that. Like, I put a stake in the ground where it was like, I am now creating. I am like, I do create. Like, the distinction for me that I got from your community was that I am not creating as a process. I have created. Like, that I was using my language in a way that was like well intentioned, but I wasn't able to manifest because I wasn't speaking as if it was already finished. So this weekend was a stake in the ground for me where I am now the creator. Like, I create my life. I'm not creating it. I have created it. It's done.
It's done. It's absolutely done. That's such a beautiful thing to come to awareness. And the reality is, we all are creating our experience. Like, I'm creating my experience,
Yeah.
or I've created my experience up into this moment, and I can choose what the future creation is by being intentional moving forward. And in the past, I wasn't being intentional about my creations. And now I've really become intentional, and now that intention has caught up with me, which is why I live on the beach in a wellness resort, and I'm surrounded by the most epic people I can imagine being surrounded by, and I'm inviting more epic people, more angels, as I've been calling them, to come join me. The evolved angels came up today.
Nice.
Yes,
I love
yes.
it.
So I really want men, turn both ears on. Like, whatever you're doing right now, just for a moment, let's give Daniel the floor here, because he's created something super unique for the month of February that he's doing, and he's making it so easy for people to be involved who are looking to get an extra edge on life, maybe move out of that David Duchovny Californication mode into a way of being that creator and creating the experience they want to have. So I'll let you kind of add to that. Tell everybody what you're doing.
Yeah, and as serendipity would have it, I found a great place to pull off to the side, so I won't be like dodging semis while we do it. So I haven't come across a program that that okay. So first of all, let me say this: it's called the Rising Regimen. It's 28 days of self mastery for men, and it is not a beginner. It's not a beginner program. Like, this isn't a vision board program. This isn't like a daily affirmation. Like, this is the deeper stuff that I'm getting into. It's stuff pulled from Tantra, from Kundalini Yoga. There's some dietary stuff. There is a non-ejaculatory piece to this for men, where we are harnessing our sexual energy, channeling it up through our bodies to fuel our intention, to fuel our magic, and to fuel our lives. So what happens when you fuck with your diet, when you start doing breath work, when you change the coping mechanisms, is that all this stuff starts to come up and it starts to transform. And so there's a couple pieces to help us handle that. Like, the community of men that we're creating, this brotherhood, the Rising Regimen Brotherhood, is going to be one of the most powerful groups of men that I've ever been a part of, and we're building it right now for February. Men to support each other in dealing with the shit that comes up as we start kicking out our crutches and kicking out the ways that we numb out, and using that energy. Like, people, you remember that old episode of Seinfeld where they had the bet, the wager, I think it was called, was the name of the episode, where they tried to be master of their own domain, to not masturbate, for like whoever could go the longest, they would win the bet. And so during the beginning of it, they're like laying in bed, eyes open, like they couldn't get to sleep, and like all of this stress and tension was coming up because that coping mechanism of orgasm and coping mechanism of how they were using their sex was off the table. So it brings shit up, but there's a way to channel that energy to fuel your intention. That's one piece of the program that I'm really excited about.
I'm going to pause you before you go to the next one, because I want to make sure I share with everybody This is something that I personally have and continue to play around with. It's something I first read about in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich when I was like 13 years old. Perfect timing, right? Like, and really what it is the way I like to look at it is that the creative force that we have as men is in our semen. And the more we can create that creative force and that that desire for something, and and for sex is like the strongest desire for men. Like it's just scientifically, like biologically, this has been talked about for ages. The more that I've learned how to use that energy intentionally with the actions I take in real life, whatever that means, um, or the actions, the intentions that I put out there, then the more that I actually am able to like create things on the dot. So, and also actually what ends up happening is that at first it's kind of a struggle and kind of a weird feeling for, at least for me, that's how it felt. And then as I practiced it, my sex life actually got infinitely better. Like it's still getting better. And the thing is, there's times where I go where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to practice that, and that's perfect. I can own that as being as experiencing this. Now, if there's sometime I have a block or I want to make a big quantum leap, then I'll play around with this and I'll master my domain, as so you speak. So I think I heard Daniel say. Um, and then I'll only ejaculate, and I'll do it along with an intention.
Yeah.
So there's times of the month to actually do this that are even more, which maybe you're going to talk about in the program. But that like this is a big deal. Like it might seem scary to some people. Like why would I do that? It seems ridiculous. It is super duper powerful.
Yeah. When we don't use our sexual creative energy with intention, we lose it. You know, it used to be that I thought, okay, if I every ejaculation I have is like basically an hour of sleep that I need to recover from that energy. And I had that way underestimated. Every now to me, like every ejaculation is like $10,000 out the door, you know, or it's, you know, there's much more to it than an hour of sleep. Like it's massively powerful if you use it with intention, and if you're just uh, don't have mastery over that part of yourself, then there's a huge opportunity to master it and to start creating with it.
That is so beautifully stated. And the cool thing is for the ladies is it's actually the opposite for them. Their creative forces become stronger the more that they have orgasm. Or actually,
Yep.
I should say climax is actually the right phrase. Orgasm is just to be excited. So the more that the ladies actually have the full climax, that actually invigorates them. And the more that that I've had sex and I hold back from climax, the more energy I actually end up retaining. Like I want more of it instead of just like, oh, done, gonna like go have a sandwich and then go to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so there's that part. We're going to get into that, but we're going to have a community of support around that piece of it. Here's the other thing that I'm including is do you know what binaural beats are?
Yes, I know. However, some individuals watching may not.
Yeah.
So let's break that. You want to break it down?
Yeah. So there's something called brain entrainment. When you present your senses with a rhythm, either audible or visual, your brain starts to sync up with the rhythm of what you're hearing and seeing. And so the you're looking at like brain waves that you want to get into a low, relaxed state that's suggestible, so that you can hypnotize yourself. I'm getting ahead of it.
Go
That's the
ahead.
intent. We're actually going to bring in hypnosis through using binaural beats to slow our brains down to suggestible levels. So binaural just means it's two ears, bi meaning two, and aural meaning audible. Um, you can't actually hear 8 hertz or 7 hertz, but that's the level of frequency that we want to get the brain's your brain entrains to.
So that would be the theta state or gamma?
Yeah, I believe it's theta.
Okay.
I have to look at my
Okay.
chart.
Yeah.
But since it's sub-audible, since you can't hear it, you play, let's say 440 hertz in this ear and 448 hertz in this ear, and your brain like hears that dissonance as 8 hertz, and so it goes wah, 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 wah. Your brain responds to that by syncing up with the wah wah with the dissonance.
Right.
You add to that suggestions, and it takes you into this hyper hypnotic state where you're more suggestible, and you can actually reprogram your subconscious to support your vision, to support your goals, and to support what you're up to. In this case, in the 28 days that we're doing the Rising regimen.
So just to give some more even background on this is a practice that's been done for thousands of years. Tibetan monks would do it with the bowls, and actually different bowls to actually help people get into this state where the subconscious gets wide open. This is the state that we are born into this world in, and lasts for about the first 7 years. So from the last trimester to the first 7 years of our lives, this is the state that I was born into, you were born into. And from my experience, as I had experiences in the world, I started creating what's known as the conscious mind, and that creates the filter. So the conscious mind basically says, oh, it's sunny, and it puts on sunglasses. The thing is, the conscious mind doesn't take the sunglasses off when you get out of the sun. So what happens is I would start to see the world through many filters, and this happens through all kinds of different beliefs that we have, whether it's I'm not enough, which is like the number one belief of the Western civilization that people have underlying I'm not enough, I'm not safe, I'm not lovable, are all very common ones. So I would imagine that this has some kind of component to like helping reprogram the brain, as when we were a child, we were so susceptible to this.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump in a little bit because this is touching on the actual offer
Please.
that I'm making.
Oh.
So the program's $1,400, and that includes 2 hours of coaching with me and a customized audio brain entrainment thing. So we do it at night. We go to bed with it, and then there's one that brings you up that actually gets you into a beta alpha. Not sure what we're going to take it to yet, but it kind of, I've done this, and it's better than coffee. Like, you put it on for 6 minutes and you're ready to like jam. So that's a part of the bigger program. I'm leaving that part off because I want to get men doing the rest of this stuff, and I'm doing it for $47.
So if somebody wants to just get into this,
yeah,
for $47, they can get into the entire 28 days. And instead of doing the customized binaural beats and the one-on-one coaching, now you're going to offer the whole program with the group, the Q&A, all those pieces, and then give them, I think, a more standardized, not a customized binaural beat that they could always upgrade to if they want to upgrade later.
Yeah. So the way that we would do it if it was custom is that you and I would talk. We would talk about what your vision is, what's in the way of your vision, and break it down and resolve each one of those things in your subconscious. Like, so if you have I'm not enough thing going on, then we program in like what you need to hear. Like we dissolve it. We resolve those conversations subconsciously. It's specifically to your past and your experience. And then we add in things that support your vision. Generally, we can just do that generally, but it's just not going to be specific to you. It's not going to resolve issues that are specific to you, but it's still going to be powerful.
Yeah, well, I would imagine that most of them are going to be, the ones that if somebody hasn't done this kind of neural empowerment or brain training or whatever terminology we want to call it, then the main ones we all have. Like it's part of the human condition. It's something that I've gone through. I've done a lot of binaural beats, and I was really excited when I heard that Daniel was going to be doing this because I actually had taken it upon myself to create my own personal affirmations and visualization exercises, and then created binaural beats myself and made my own custom one that I would listen to every single morning. And when I went to sleep, I put it on looping. So this way it was like just popping right in there while I was sleeping. And then in the morning, I've got another dose of it. And not listening to driving. Don't do that. Don't listen to this while you're driving or working out. That requires a certain amount of presence. So that's awesome.
What did it get you when you did that? Like, what were the results of you doing that for yourself?
Oh my gosh. If I were going to list them all out, we'd be here for a really, really long time. The thing that sticks out most to me would be just realizing how small I was playing and how powerful I am. And that really helped me to generate significantly more confidence in all my actions that I was taking. So, you know, I at that time, I was definitely in a place where when people would say stuff about me, I would really take it to heart. And people that didn't even know me would say stuff about me. And because, well, as a result of me being in the public eye, right? I was in the public eye quite a bit, and people would really, with motocross track, race tracks, like there's a lot of people that come in, and it's general public. They don't know who you are. They just want to complain about something. There's people that are in that state. And I was actually in that state, which was actually why I was probably attracting all that, right? So it really started filtering out that noise, and the voice in my head that reacted to that and took it on as it was truth just kind of became like, oh, that's a crazy voice. I can't believe I just thought that thing. And then it would be switching right to the more empowering belief. So if it was a not enoughness, then it was like, oh, I am enough. I am enough. Why would I even consider that? Who's that voice? And with time and listening to these things, then it became like so quickly nature that I really, I would have to dig to remember the last time I felt like I wasn't enough. And that's a huge piece. Or underappreciated was one of the big ones to me.
Okay.
So, yeah.
It's so listen, you empowered is good. You empowered to empower other men and other women and other people, and you empowered to change the world. That's what we're fucking up to.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to. I don't give a shit. Like this is why I'm saying like, yeah, it's $1,400. I want to do it for 50 so that we can get men here who are committed to changing the world, and this can ripple out. Like I want this to hit in a way that produces leaders, not produces people who are a little happier, which is great. I want this to produce world-changing, powerful leaders.
Yeah, everybody that comes out of it is the ripple effect first will get seen. Like for me, at least, when I started doing this, it was first in my relationship, and I started seeing where I was out of authenticity in the little pieces, like where I was doubting myself. And as I started to express myself, there was a little bit of tension, there. However, I could stand in that tension and not get caught up in it. And when I stood in that intention, then things started to change. My relationship with my wife got better. With my employees got better. Some people disappeared from my life altogether really easily, and it was great because they weren't on the same vibe as I was operating at now at this point. And what ended up happening is now, months later, pretty much all of them are back in my life in a different version, in a higher version, and that ripple effect went from me and my core group to out to the world. And part of it was without the binaural beats and this technology, the Evolve Life might not even have existed. Who knows? And it's so you can be so lazy. I can be so lazy. It's just laying down and listening to some sounds. And
that's the best part of it.
It's so cool.
Listen, like it doesn't, we're like, one of the false beliefs that we have is that anything that is worthwhile is hard and difficult and needs to be like, you need to suffer for it. Well, somebody else suffered to figure out that binaural beats work to reprogram your brain. So just use,
So just use it.
so just use it. Yeah, like we've I don't necessarily love the word hacked consciousness, but we've tapped into something. We've learned how to do it. Just like a car, you hop in a car and you drive, or you hop in a plane, you fly. You don't necessarily have to suffer to like hop in a jet and travel across the world. It's new technology that enables us to be empowered to do things we want to do. It's the same thing. We're hacking into our consciousness with new technology that allows us to do things that we couldn't do before.
Yes, yes. And one of the things that really is sticking out to me as you're saying this is we, both Daniel and I, got to spend quite a bit of time with a good friend of ours, Marie Sterling. And she said to me at one point, life should be so easy, it should feel like you're cheating. And I definitely have that feeling now where it's just like, wow, this is just actually a lot easier than I was making it out to be. And a technology like this it's kind of like cheating because it doesn't require that crazy work, right? The crazy efforting. We
Yeah.
can add effort to it and maybe, you know, improve the effects of it, but I'm not sure if that's true either.
Well, yeah, and there's plenty of stuff to do particularly in the rising regimen that's gonna require discipline. Um, but this isn't one. This is one of the support structures. Like the hypnosis is one of those things that gets us aligned with our vision and supports us through the more difficult things we're taking on.
Yeah. So one of the things I think I keep hearing Daniel say here is about support and the community and the group of it. So and this is one the binaural beats is one aspect of support. Now the community and what's the program look like? So I pay my $47. I'm getting the standard binaural beats, or I pay the $14.97, which actually there's a big cost in creating the custom ones, which is why that price is a little higher.
Yeah.
This is not a cheap technology. So what is a week? What is it? What does it look like? So 28 days. What is it?
Yeah. So we have constant access to the Facebook group with the Brotherhood. So we're just going to use the existing Facebook platform to create that space where we can support each other. So you're going to have access to other men who are committed to changing the world. I'm not going to fuck with dudes who are not committed. Like you're in for a pound of flesh. So
You're in to change the life. Like the reason why somebody would want to do this is I want to change my life. I want to change my life and upgrade it like in every capacity. No
yeah,
half-assing it because it takes
right.
a lot if you want to actually. I couldn't even use the word change. Transform.
Yeah.
Fucking transform. Okay.
This is we've got we're going to bring in some tantric and kundalini breath work and motion. So we're kind of kicking off our days with some of the most powerful stuff I pulled from kundalini yoga and tantric breath work, combining those with the hypnosis, combining those with videos around setting our intention, and then we've got some group calls in there. Like I don't it's not really about the structure. It's about like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just too excited to articulate it well.
I mean, I think I'm picking it up. So I think what I heard Daniel say here is that right now the idea is to be able to have a community created for men to interact with each other and be able to lean on each other for support, much like I'm adding this in, what women have a ton of, right? Women have a ton
Yeah.
of support groups and have actually a support group for men to be able to talk about what's going on with them so that this way they can really open up like a safe environment to do that and a transformative where they're actually going to work together to coach each other, push each other, support each other. It's kind of what I'm hearing. Is that accurate?
It is, and specifically, you mentioned the community of support that women have. Um, this is in some ways you could call this um, a, a way to really supercharge your progress into the divine masculine. So what?
Love that.
Yeah. So what that means is that we have responsibility our masculine energy, with this role that we're choosing to take on, to be in some ways a fucking rock, to be the mountain. And the way that you be the mountain is to master yourself and to master your own concerns, so they don't sabotage your ability to be there for someone else. So this is real leadership in terms of mastering yourself so that you can be an amazing, huge contribution in the world.
So this is huge. This resonates with me so much, because I know in my relationship, in my all of the relationships that I've had that experience of like, what does it actually mean to show up as a man? And for a time, like, I thought it was being macho or being powerful and like having control or being able to like get somebody to do something or boss somebody around, kind of, and not in a like a bad intentional way, like I'm trying to like be manipulative or bully anybody. However, I kind of was, not unknowingly, right?
Yeah.
And at least for me, I can only speak to me. There was that time when I was a teenager and somebody spilt a drink all over my brand new shirt, and I was like meeting a girl for the first time, and then I like tried to like bow up, and I was gonna like beat the shit out of him, and I was that guy, right? And that's the old way of being a man. It's like being macho. The kind of protection that men had to used to do is significantly different now than 100, 200, 1,000 years ago, which is what we were programmed to do as a protector. In the past, it might have been actually being that warrior and like having to kill somebody or beat the crap out of them. However, evolutionary speaking, those problems don't exist for me anymore. I can't speak for anybody else here. The reality is showing up and dealing with the hurricane, handling the hurricane that the feminine, the divine feminine brings to everything there, everything that is creating, and the divine masculine is all that that is the boundaries, that is that structure. And the more I can move my boundaries, the more I can show up for my lady. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Does that resonate with what you're saying? Or am I just completely taking people off track?
No, that's great. It's totally true. I mean, what you're saying too is like, I'm going to add to it.
Yes.
By the way, can you see me?
I can see you.
Okay, I have a poor connection on this end, so I
See
actually
you.
can't see you. But
I'm smiling.
oh, good. Society's progress, the progress of culture, and the progress of our body as a humanity, mirrors the progress of our bodies as individuals. And so you're talking about this stage where you were a teenager and someone spilled a drink on your shirt, and you were in that immature masculine. And I see that, and I see it reflected in the world around us, where the vast majority of men in Western society are in that immature masculine, that hyper aggressive, power, kind of violent, forceful energy. And the key really is that we're going to evolve ourselves so that we can evolve our community and the world around us. But they can't get there if we don't get there. Like, this is the microcosm is going to lead the macrocosm. The individual will set the stage and set the bar for the world. So that's really what we're doing here is setting the bar of what it means to be mature, divine, masculine, not only as examples, but as the actual world. We're not only leading the world in doing it, we are doing it, period. Like, it is the act of changing the world.
In the doing it, I think what I hear Daniel saying here, guys, is in the doing it is actually the creation, and the being it is actually the creation to lead and change the entire world just by actually showing up and making a decision about what it is, what an intention of what it is to be a man, the choice of what it is to be a man, and operating in this higher plane is automatically going to set anybody that goes through this program up as a leader and change the reality they experience from then going up forward. Is that right?
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm getting it.
Awesome. sometimes I pull in ideas that are they require some to be said again or some context. So I appreciate you doing that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I like to put it into my words as me as an individual. Just I think it helps people relate when they hear the two different angles, and everybody that's on here knows my voice a little bit, knows who I am. I think. Well, I'm sure there's some newbies that will watch. If you're a newbie, actually comment that this is a newbie thing, and we can tailor it to newbies. 'Cause I definitely get a little woo woo, a little crazy out there sometimes. And I
Yeah.
would say, like, my delusion, I choose my delusion and I choose it to be as big as I can possibly imagine it to be. Also, please, if you are picking up what we're putting down, or my new phrase, are you bagging what I'm mowing? Let me know if you're bagging what I'm mowing, and or what Daniel's mowing, because
Yeah.
this is really big, important stuff. And Daniel and I got to speak quite a bit about this while he was down. Not as much as I would have liked to. We were understanding it, I think, in other ways. Freaking this guy, he is such an amazing individual. I'm so blessed to have had him come into my existence. I met you at A Fest. Was it in Costa Rica that we met in A Fest?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
We met in
so
Costa Rica.
like 3 years ago, and the transformation that I've seen from Daniel has just been amazing in terms of individual. And the cool thing is, when I first met him, he had a t-shirt company. He was in the process of selling it. He was like kind of on. It seemed like, to me, it seemed like he was like on top of the world, and just like totally just crushing it. And he got back from A Fest, and it kind of all like, it was like trying to hold water, like just came out, and then it was like start from scratch and reinvent. And I get the impression that that had to happen to allow this transformation. Just like for me, Cycle Ranch, kind of having to put that on pause was like that thing that was a catalyst for me. Like, wait, I'm putting energy in the wrong area. Is that
Yeah.
true for you?
It was the end of a chapter that brought a lot of lessons, and then it created space for what we're doing now, which is, I mean, frankly, like, I don't give it. I'm not ashamed to say, like, I don't really want to create more T-shirts in the world. Like, that wasn't what I was about. What I was about was getting people passionate about creating big visions that make a difference in other people's lives. And now I have the space to do that, and it's fucking brilliant.
That's so beautiful. And everybody watching, if this feels good to you, like, just comment and say, "Oh, this is sounds like maybe I would actually like to use this," or comment, "My life's perfect. I don't want to make any changes to it." If that's where you're at, um, I feel like for a big time for me, I didn't have a clear purpose. I didn't know what I
Mhm.
was going to be doing, and that not word in there did not only reinforce it. And what ended up happening was I started meeting people. Daniel was one of them, and more people like him, and surrounding myself with people that really are excited about embracing the change. And even though there can be discomfort to it, so no matter where anybody watching right now, no matter where you feel like you are, the possibilities for bigger, unless you are acting and you are seeing the world as God, which is the highest thing I know to this point. Um, unless that's where anyone is, unless that's where I am, I've got to be like picking up my pace. So if it's not even pace, it's just my way of being. So before I encourage anyone, before they go down a path that they might not be certain is their purpose, to really investigate themselves. There's that saying, "Know thyself." Know thyself, and how much we really know ourselves is going to be knowing how we've created the disaster or the heaven on earth that we've created. And Daniel, your program sounds like an amazing program to help usher in one of my purpose, ushering in heaven on earth, and it's
Yeah.
part of that process. So
I'm ready for men to join who are ready to take on the world and to take on creating their vision of creating love and connection and power for other people. Um, that's who I'm speaking to.
and it's such a bold move watching you drop the price down to $47. Like
I know.
that is huge. Like the thing is, for those of you that think, well, the 14.97, that's a lot of money, and there's definitely, I understand, I get it. Like there was a time where the money was like the deciding factor for me, and anything above $50, I was like, I don't know, whatever. The reality is the investment that is being put into this is actually just a token of commitment by anyone that purchases this. And to see you, Daniel, really make it available for anybody can come up with $50. That's the reality. So the commitment dollar amount, though, also is changed the commitment of success. So if somebody spends more money, they're more likely to be successful because they have that money to lose, right? Now, you putting this out and making it available for anyone, I hope that anybody out there, if the money is not the issue, definitely buy the larger package, which is it's still on there, right? For
Yeah.
the customized hypnosis, coaching with Dan, you're going to get so much out of it. The more money you spend on something, the more you're going to get out of it. That's the reality. Like people don't, you spend most money out of your house on your house, and guess what happens? You end up spending time in your house, right? It's really, I spend a lot of money on my wife, and guess what? I get a lot more out of her as a result of that investment. I put a lot more in because I put money in, and now I'm going to be like, oh, I'm really going to invest and make this amazing. Same thing with my businesses. So anybody out there, like I really strongly encourage you to, if you want to transform your life and you want to know yourself better, definitely get on the train with this. This begins February 1, so 2 days.
Yeah. It's a couple days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No time to fuck around.
Yeah. No time like the present. So is there anything that you want to, and guy, everybody, comment any questions that you have, and we'll come back after the live feed here, and Daniel will actually answer any of your questions. Share this with any guys that you know that might be looking to really step up their game, and ladies, share it with your guys and encourage them to check it out because it will change them for you.
Well, I think here's the thing I want to say is that I'm not like I don't follow the traditional. I don't even want to call it immature masculine, but I don't kind of follow the traditional masculine expression. I'm not interested in sports. I've there have been times when I've liked cars, but I've like kind of grown up more as an artist and as a musician, and I've been in a different realm of things. I've been kind of nerdy or musical or technical. There's a whole there's a whole swath of men who we don't have a place. We don't have a rallying cry. There's, we don't have sports necessarily to gather around. And our masculinity is just as legitimate, if not more, because we're actually deepening our understanding of what it means to be in our power and in that role. So that's really what I'm creating here is the validity to this other expression of masculinity, the spiritual side of things, the creative side of things, the powerful side of things that isn't necessarily reliant on outward trappings of sports or status to affirm ourselves. So we are creating our own affirmations, and we're creating what it means to be men for ourselves. It's completely valid.
That is so well put. I myself grew up really not a fan of sports. Like I watched it, I participated. I mean, I raced motorcycles and that stuff. And I still really enjoy going fast and being on the edge,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So it's not necessarily a replacement for that. If that's somebody's thing. If you're watching this right now, it's not a replacement for that. It's actually what I found for me is it's a way that I can enjoy other aspects of my life as much as I enjoy going 150 miles an hour
Yeah,
or
exactly.
jumping a 150-foot triple. Like that's Like that is exciting, and now I know how to recreate that experience and that level of joy and excitement by holding my wife's hand. And guess what?
Mm.
She fucking loves it.
Oh,
She loves
wow.
it.
That's amazing.
It's like dropping panties by holding hands.
Whoa!
Aha!
You should come on and do a little guest video with me inside the program.
For shizzles.
Brother, I love you. I'm going to hit back on the road.
Yes.
I so appreciate us talking today. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks again for coming down. It was so great to see you. Such a big surprise.
Yeah.
We'll have to share the story of our conversation on another feed at another time. And
Yes.
actually, Daniel almost didn't make it. Well, maybe he still would have made it. But the conversation, I almost sent him a message that might have curtailed that.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that message, I could have easily curtailed it. And I got an intuition that he and I need to get on the phone and actually just talk man to man. And now closer than ever. So thanks, brother. Thanks for being my tribe. Drive safely.
I'm honored. Thank you. I love you. Happy birthday.
Love you too, bro. Cheers.
Okay. Bye.